I don't want to get fired. So I'm just gonna say I could not hate these people more than I do. It is not physically possible.
You couldn't even put this in a movie. People would be like, yo, you're being too cartoonish.
In 2023, the little girl you see here, who's being identified as Sophia, came to this country from Mexico with her parents. And the family was granted permission to temporarily stay here for humanitarian reasons. They applied for it and was granted because Sophia is ill and in need of life-saving treatment. Now, all that is in jeopardy.
Yes, your daily reminder of how utterly cruel and intentionally cruel our immigration policy is. That little girl identified as Sophia is likely going to be sent out of the country, even if that results in her death. Now, the DHS is scrambling in the wake of this news, picking up so much seem to imply that they're not actually doing this, but that's not the case. They simply lie. They need to get their numbers up. And when you don't actually have roving bands of Honduran cannibals to deport, you gotta sometimes deport a 4-year-old girl with a potentially fatal illness. And so let's talk a little bit about her and the situation. Lawyer for the family said the girl's mother was notified that the US government was withdrawing the humanitarian parole that the family received back in 2023 when she was brought to the US-Mexico border. She received the notification in April and May and was told the family is subject to potential deportation. Sophia has what's called short bowel syndrome, a disease that prevents the body from taking in and processing nutrients on its own. Apparently the care that she requires to stay alive is not available in Mexico. That's why they came here and applied for and were granted the humanitarian parole. But we have a little bit more of the lawyer joining Chris Hayes there to explain how dire this situation is.
Sophia was receiving treatment in Mexico prior to coming to the United States. However, she kept getting repeated blood infections and was doing very poorly. So she and her parents came to the US to seek humanitarian parole, and subsequently Sophia has received treatment at a hospital in San Diego and then Children's Hospital Los Angeles. Her condition has improved substantially, but her doctors have said that if her treatment is interrupted, she will die within days. I think it's important to say that Sophia undergoes medical treatment at home 14 hours per day. She is required to basically be hooked up to an IV 14 hours a day and taking nutrients that way. She is also fed through a G-tube 4 times a day.
Wow.
And she visits Children's Hospital every 6 weeks or so. So she has just very intense specialized treatment that Children's Hospital specializes in. This is a world-class facility, but more importantly, the equipment that Sophia relies on to deliver the nutrients to her system is not available outside of the United States. And her doctors have clearly ordered her and the other patients that are undergoing this treatment to not leave the country.
And so there's a lot in that, but the important takeaway is the doctors say that she will die within days if she is deported. And I mean, I've been paying attention. Last 120 days or so, unless there's some critical mass of attention put on this story, what do you think they're gonna do? What do you think Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, and Donald Trump are gonna do? And I have a little girl. And so I don't wanna get fired. So I'm just gonna say I could not hate these people more than I do. It is not physically possible. So I'm gonna throw it to you so I cannot get fired.
Well, here is, well, if you get fired, I'd probably have more opportunity to do this. So I have a vested interest. But what I look at here is an opportunity for a US president, a real US president, to go to California, celebrate American medicine, celebrate what we can do for a little girl who otherwise would die, as it was said here, otherwise would die. Celebrate that and talk about that being part of America, going back to what we were talking about, the three of us a little bit ago, being great, about America being great. I would use that opportunity to then say, Sophia, don't worry, you can stay here. We are going to take care of you here in the United States. We would never send you back. And still, like any president, even this president, could still go on with his agenda, and even get political capital by making an exception here and bringing attention to American medicine. There's so many lost opportunities here, but the only opportunity we're taking is hate xenophobism, keeping America white again, doing all the things that we've talked about so much. And it's mind-blowing to me. It is mind-blowing that you could do this. I don't know every part of this story, but you don't need to know every part of every story to see what the superficial part of this can tell us. It's an opportunity for an American president to pounce on, and we're doing the opposite because these people that you just mentioned, John, are so odious about this kind of a thing, and they're just full speed ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and this comes on the heels of them making a big show of having the white South African farmers whose land was not taken from them, come to America and parade these people around,
great point.
As if their situation were dire when it couldn't be anything further from the truth. And the idea that this little girl, she's 4 years old, we can't have her here so she could get her meds and actually stay alive. I mean, it's a meme with the GOP, like the cruelty is the point. But this is like damn near a farce. Yeah. Like you couldn't even put this in a movie. People would be like, yo, you're being too cartoonish about the level of evil here. It's just impossible to fathom that anybody with a conscience would be against this little girl and her parents staying in America so she could get medical treatment. It seems impossible. And, I could already hear, the people on the other side, oh, this is manipulation. Most of the people that we're sending back have nothing to do with this type of thing. Why are you even using this as an example? I mean, the point is it's to raise up again why people want to come here. We're supposed to be the exceptional country. That's the point, man. And acting like we don't have resources, they're so scarce and blah, 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 blah. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reference that you made to the South Africans is a devastating point, 100%. And that's exactly it. Yeah. We can take a bunch of people based purely on 4chan conspiratorial nonsense, Alex Jones mind vomit. We bring them. We have resources for that, not for her. It's just race. That's literally all it is. I mean, we're supposed to dignify it and imply that it's something else.
Right.
That's all it is. That's all it is. The entire thing is just, it's so grotesque. On the manipulation, we know they love to take individual cases like a victim of a crime. If someone is the victim of a crime perpetrated by a migrant, that's it. We're done. You don't have immigration anymore. We know that they do that. We know that game that they play. They love it. They love it to cover themselves in the blood. But for some reason, one migrant being guilty is reason to stop it. What about an innocent little 4-year-old girl? Is that a reason to continue it? No, don't care. Not interested. Because they don't see them as people, like fundamentally. That's the problem. Again, the identity politics that drives so much right-wing thought, it just suffuses every issue and it makes it impossible to reason with these people because their racial bias, the animus they feel, makes them incapable of seeing actual gains and costs, pros and cons of policy. They tell us that we're crippled by identity politics. It's not the case. Caring about people is not the bias they think it is. Being driven by hatred and fear and jealousy and sometimes lust, all wrapped up with identity, does make you incapable of talking seriously about politics, about understanding the consequences of your actions. And we see it 1,000 times a day under this insane administration.
And it's the focus on the negative and not the positive. That's what I'm just saying. This is like a chance to say only in America. Right? Only in America could this person get fixed. Could this little girl have her short bowel system or a short bowel problem condition addressed properly? Only in America with American doctors and American hospitals. That's one avenue you could go down. But in the end, they choose the negative, which is you can't stay here. You're here illegally. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Right. That's an opportunity lost, and that's also a disgusting way of looking at a situation.
Yeah, and to our prior point, whatever else it is, it ain't great.
Right, that's true.
Nothing great about it. Okay, I think that we're probably gonna have to end this segment. We do just wanna briefly let you know, more American citizens have been deported. There's another little girl, 3 years old, deported with her parents who are not citizens. She is, and she's now on a tourist visa in Brazil. She can't get citizenship there. She's not a citizen of that state. She's kind of in legal limbo now, and we just got rid of her. And then when they were asked about it, they lied and said that the parents requested it. The parents say we were never given any option of letting her stay in the US. So we talk about like, hey, at some point they're gonna start deporting US citizens. We're past that. They've already been doing that, and they just lie about it afterward. However many steps you think we are down the road towards fascism, it's probably more than you realize.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.